Hi everyone, I'm excited to share with you the writing task for the week. So this week we are going to be writing our own Cinderella stories, which I'm very excited about, and I think that this is going to be such an awesome opportunity for you to get super creative. So let's talk about how to plan this Cinderella story. Before we even start the planning, I just want to note that I did a few weeks ago read several Cinderella stories, and maybe you followed along with that, and maybe you weren't able to, and either way, that's okay, because right now I'm going to go over what all Cinderella stories have, so we can kind of all be on the same page before we plan our Cinderella stories. So all Cinderella stories have four main elements. They all have a main character, so some sort of Cinderella character. Now this might be a young woman, like in the original Cinderella, or it could be an animal or some other creature, like we read the Bigfoot Cinderella. So all Cinderella stories have some sort of main Cinderella character. All Cinderella stories also have evil characters and good characters that support the main character as well. And so the evil characters that we've learned about can be evil stepmothers, evil step-siblings, but you can make up your own evil characters in your story. And then some good characters that we've read about are usually the fairy godmother type character. And this has been different in all the stories that we've read, and you'll get to create your own fairy godmother type character as well. Every Cinderella story also has some sort of proof of identity. So what I mean by this is there's something that Cinderella always leaves behind, like the glass slipper in the original story. So when you're writing your Cinderella story, make sure that there is something that Cinderella leaves behind at some point that proves that she is the real Cinderella, or he, or they, or whoever your character is. And then the fourth thing that all Cinderella stories have is a happy ending. And in a lot of Cinderella stories, this usually takes place as some sort of wedding, right? The happy ending comes in the form of a wedding, but it doesn't have to be a wedding. You can get super creative with what you want your happy ending to be. So, to plan our Cinderella story, there are a few sheets that you're going to use. The first is this Cinderella character profile. So this is a chance for you to come up with some information about your Cinderella character. The first thing you need to come up with is the name. So I came up with my Cinderella character's name. Her name is Cinderelephant. So I thought that was kind of fun, Cinderelephant. Cinderelephant's hometown is the Lincoln Park Zoo. And then I would go on to fill out the whole sheet. So this box is for traits, so you would write character traits like kind or good or pretty, whatever you want to write in the traits box, go ahead. Proof of identity, again, is something that your Cinderella character leaves behind. So I said a pink bow. So Cinderelephant at some point is going to leave behind a pink bow, and that's how we know that it's Cinderelephant. And then on the bottom here, I want you to write some good characters that will be in your story and some evil characters that will be in your story as well. Then you get a chance to create a portrait where you're actually going to draw a picture of your Cinderella character. And this is just another chance to add some more details about your Cinderella character that will help you when you're brainstorming the draft of this writing. And then finally, there's a story map. So you will, just like we do when we read stories and then we fill out a story map, you're going to actually use the story map to plan your story. So I want you to include on your story map the characters in your story, the setting of your story, the problem in your story, or problems, there might be more than one problem, and then the resolution. How does that problem get solved? Or there might be many resolutions. How do the many problems in your story get solved? So that is how you're going to plan your Cinderella story, and then later on in the week, I'll have another video for you of how you can actually start writing your story. I'm really excited to read these stories, and this is, again, a time to get super creative. So your Cinderella can be a boy or a girl or a dinosaur or a squirrel. It doesn't matter, okay? But it's up to you. You get to create your own Cinderella character and write your own story. So this is going to be a really fun creative writing week, and I can't wait to see what you all come up with.